بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Hadith number 71. What's up?
70.
Huh?
70.
Oh, who's going to read Hadith number 70? Huh?
عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل أمتي معافى إلا المجاهرين وإن المجاهرة أن يعمل الرجل بالليل عملا ثم يصبح فستر الله عليه فيقول يا فلان عملت البارحة كذا وكذا عملت البارحة كذا وكذا وقد بات يستره ربه ويصبح ويكشف ستر الله عنه متفق عليه.
Anybody else? Oh man, come on, man. You can memorize these hadith, man. Come on, Clovis West, we are the best, but you can't memorize a hadith. Clovis East, we are the beast. I don't know. Which school did you go to?
For high school?
Yeah.
Gateway.
I don't know.
Continuation schools.
Oh, you were a troublemaker.
Probation.
Yeah, okay. You were one of those troublemakers. Yeah. Well, alhamdulillah, you finished it, right? Yeah, that's an important thing. All right. Nobody else, Abdullah? Ibrahim, sorry. Yeah, leave me alone, man. I ate a bunch of ice cream, man, over the last 2 days.
One more?
Abdullah, huh?
See one more?
No, absolutely not. Nah. I told you that ice cream messed me up, man. That stuff, I'm not eating. Once we finish it, I'm never eating it again. No, Ben & Jerry's doesn't damage me like this stuff. Like, this stuff makes me stupid. You saw, like, the whole khutbah, I was like, like, I kept forgetting which ayah was next. No, I'm not eating that stuff no more, man. No. All right, hadith number 71, so many ways to get good deeds. All right, so we're going to talk about the different ways, because that's the beauty of this religion. And so there's not like, a person could go to Jannah because of his fasting. A person could go to Jannah for standing up at night. Or another person could go to Jannah for his recitation and reading the Quran every day. Another person can go to Jannah for charity or feeding the poor. There's like so many different ways that, where it's not like where, this is the only way to get to Jannah. Alhamdulillah, from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the beauty of this religion is that the ways of getting to Jannah have been made so numerous, So alhamdulillah, but the main thing is whatever the person does, he does it with consistency. He persists in that one thing. Because you would be amazed how much good you can attain just by being consistent and just that one thing, just like, okay, like let me just get these salawat in the masjid every single day. And then you do that. Then you start saying, okay, man, let me just like try to sit down and just read Quran every day. Then you do that for a time period. And then you just keep adding these little things are good, and you could be surprised. You'll be surprised over time, like how much your life changes and how much khair and everything, like how many things just open up for you. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens up doors for you just for that persistence and good. Like if you're a type of person who's constantly trying to like feed the poor and help out the poor and help out the people who are in need, then you start to see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens up more ways of you getting risk. And that opens up more, you get more money and you can help more people and you end up doing more good. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you like this means of good for the people where like, you're like this means for them getting that risk that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, but it goes through you. And you see the fadl and the karam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors this person by now. This money goes through his hands, but it goes to where it was written for. It was written for these people in the beginning. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used you to get it there, and that's an honor, So doing these good deeds and being persistent in them, you see a person has a job. He wants to do something, like he wants to like memorize Quran, but he can't really do it because his job, like, oh man, I got to work 15 hours. I got a family to feed and all this. But he doesn't just give up. He keeps memorizing the Quran, but he does it at a pace that he can do it at. But then what happens is then other opportunities start to open up for him. Then you start to see like, a person comes up to him and says, hey man, I got this job. I need, you be the perfect person. And next thing you know, he's working less hours, getting paid more money. And now he's got more time to do that good. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitates it for him. These things happen, but they happen with the people who persist. They're not happen with the people who quit. The people who quit, they're never going to get this. They're never going to know, what type of father could have been there for them if they had just what? they just continue, you know. So persistence and seeing all these different ways of doing good, you know, that a person, you know, alhamdulillah, he finds his niche or his niche or whatever you want to call that thing, and he just goes with it, you know, and goes with it and uses that as a means to try to get to Jannah, inshallah. So an Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال. So we're going to go like little by little in this hadith, right? So this is reported on Abi Hurairah, in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال. You already got this hadith memorized, so there should be no issue with this hadith. Abdullah, you definitely have to memorize this. My son, you definitely, this hadith, you memorize it. You memorize it. This is one of, like, if you didn't memorize another hadith from this book, but this hadith, at least memorize this hadith. All right. And me, I got to fix the part I keep making a mistake in that Hamza corrects me every single time I say it. Don't, I will fix it, man. Shh. Don't expose your brother's faults. All right. So, من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة. So من نفس obviously it comes from what? تنفس, which means what? To be able to breathe. Because you know when you're going through a lot of difficulties, it stresses you. And when it stresses you, it almost like doesn't give you room to breathe, to relax, because you're stuck in this type of situation and there's no way out. So here the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man nafasa an mu'min," whoever relieves him like some kurbatan min kurbat dunya, these difficulties, because a kurba is obviously huge. It's not like a small trial, but this is a huge trial. Like he's having trouble feeding his family. Maybe one of his families is like really, really sick. He doesn't have the money to treat them. He's just going through a lot of stuff that's really stressing him out. And he can't find work, and then he's got to pay these bills, but he's really working. But it's just Allah tested him. But He tested him with this very powerful trial, and it's so much to the point. So he's so stressed out that he can't what to do, And then but this person comes along and relieves that burden. And says, okay, Akhi, what's your issue? What do you need? Well, what's the problem? Okay, you can't do this. Okay, I can help you out with this. I'll try to find another brother that can help you out with this. All right, and then we got a Muslim doctor, we can try to arrange something with the surgeon. So you now relieve him of all that stress. So now he can what? Now he can relax, and he can relax a little bit. You're taking that burden off of him. So whoever does that for his brother in this dunya, and for a believer in this dunya, نَفَّسَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ كُرَبَةٍ مِنْ كُرَبِ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve those same burdens for him on the Day of Judgment. وَمَنْ يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِرٍ يَسَّرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And this يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِرٍ, it goes back to a person he has a debt with a person, but he's unable to pay it. He's unable to pay back the debt, even though he's really trying to pay back the debt. Maybe he took out the debt and he had the means, he really wanted to pay it back, but maybe he lost his job, something happened, and he just can't pay the debt back on time, no matter how much he tries. So you're the person that he owes money to, and the time comes now for the debt to be paid back. So he can't pay it back. So what do we call this person in Arabic? The person that can't pay back the debt on time. What do we call this person? For the people that are listening to the audio, I'm pointing at the book so they can see the book that is in the hadith. Because the people in the audio are not going to see me pointing at the book. Huh? Al-Mu'sar. Oh. The Mu'sar is the person that can...
I'm reading the English on.
How you reading the English for, man? That's why I'm translating it this way, so you understand it. The English translations are garbage. All right, so the Mu'sar is the person that's unable to pay back his debt on time. All right, he's unable to pay back his debt. So man, yassara ala mu'sar. So whoever brings ease to the mu'sar, that means like he owes you money, but you see his difficult situation. It's not like he owes you money. You're like, Akhi, come on, man, I'm having hard times. I give you the money, and give me 3 more weeks. They're like, dude, are those new Jordans? Is that a new iPhone? You got a new iPhone and new Jordans, but you can't pay me back my money? That's not a mu'sar. That's a la'ab. That's a fool. That's a safi, right? That's a person he's doing a tala'ub. He's just playing around with you. The mu'sar is a person he really, really has difficult, and you see it. You see he's really trying to get your money back to you, but he just can't. Allah tested him with difficulties. So what do you do as that person? You know, now the time's come to pay back the debt. Look, Akhi, look, I understand your situation. Look, you got two choices, right? Extend the period. Say, look, you know, I'll give you 90 more days. You know, try to get the money back to me in 90 more days. Or what's the other option? You can forgive him. If you're not in no need of the money and you really see him struggling, just say, Akhi, forget it. I forgive you. Keep the money. Keep it. You know, either one of those are from the bab of Taysir al-Mu'sar. So either one that you do, obviously the best of the two is what? Huh? Forgive him. This is assuming, like I said, he's a good person. He's praying in the masjid. You see him as a person of khair. Allah just tested him. Allah tested him. I'm not talking about some weed smoking idiot that you never seen in the masjid and he owes you money. Nah, he pay me my money right now. Nah, you know what I'm saying? But that taysir al-mu'sar for the believers, you know, that you make it easy, especially when you see him a person of good. He forgive him. Just say, man, look, if you don't need the money, if it's a lot of money, like, you know, $100,000 or something, okay, that's something different. You know, maybe he borrowed like a big chunk of money from you to start a business, but the business it's not doing as well as he thought it was, and he's not making money yet. So you give him, all right, look, I'll give you 90 more days. Or I'll give you 6 more months to pay back, you know, to start paying back the money, whatever, you know, make it easy for him. But if it's like, you know, $100, $200, up to like 500, maybe, you know, you don't need it. You're like, look, man, just keep it. I'd rather take the reward and the day of judgment than to take your money, you know. So that's that one. So that's another bab of khair. He said, وَمَنْ سَتَرَ مُسْلِمًا سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And whoever covers up the faults of a Muslim, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cover up his faults in the dunya and the akhirah. Now, we spoke about this in the previous lesson. What is this covering of the faults? Is it for everybody? Is this across the board? Any Muslim?
Bid'ah. People who call to misguidance. You don't hide their name. You don't hide their mistake. You expose them.
Yeah, like who?
Khawarij, the Shia.
The hotel manager? You haven't been on Telegram? Yeah, okay. So you don't know who the hotel manager is?
I know though.
Is that also that they have faults that could like harm other Muslims?
Huh?
If they have
Oh
faults that
yeah,
could harm
like
Yeah, if you know that this person cheats in business.
beats up women.
Well, let's get to the beating up women. Let's go to the more common thing, because the beating up women is going to be for that woman. But you know, a dude cheating somebody in business, that's going to affect a lot of Muslims, right? So yeah, like this guy has a, you know, whatever, he car lot or other businesses, and he always sells like faulty products, and you know this, and he's ripping people off. You know, at this point, we don't cover up his faults. And we don't ever we cover up his other faults. Like, okay, if he oversleeps Fajr, you know, and things like that, you know, we cover that up and give him nasiha. We give him advice. That's not, you know, we're not trying to bring that into the mix and expose his whole life. But the thing that's going to be a danger to the Muslims, that's what we have to, that's what we have to. We can't cover that up because he is going to harm another Muslim. And covering up that Muslim might bring harm to 20 other Muslims. So what's more important, to save those 20 people or to save this one person?
Save this one.
Save the 20, right? I thought you said save this one. I was like, oh, I'm going to throw the book at you, man.
Save the 20.
Save the 20. Yeah, the 20, the 30, the 50, even the kuffar. The kuffar might go to him. If we know a kafir who's going to buy from him and we say, look, man, I'm a Muslim, he's a Muslim, the things that he does is not permissible in our religion, and I advise you, do not buy from him. Can you imagine the type of dawah for that kafir? Like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even cover up his own brother's faults. He told me the truth about his own brother. Because you know that like this is our deen. We don't play with this. He's playing with it, but we don't play with it. So yeah, man, that's dawah. You know, so we don't cover up these faults. As somebody who's known for marrying women and divorcing women a lot, then he comes and he wants to marry some brother's daughter. Like, nah, you go to the brother and say, nah, this brother, he's been married and divorced more times than you got toes, you know. So no, don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it. You know, we don't cover up like I said, all his other faults. He picks his nose at the red light. He oversleeps Fajr. He pees in his bed when he sleeps. Whatever. That's his own business. We're not going to go out and expose that. You know, you know. But the things that are going to affect the Muslims and be a harm for a Muslim, yeah, we need to expose that. We need to let the people know so to protect them. But everything else, we keep it under wraps. We don't just go around exposing people's sins, huh? Hey, شو?
يعني الشخص يذنب في العام هل تنصحه في العام أو في الخاص؟
Well, you can give them advice like in general. If it's a sin that they're doing, like he's doing or other people are doing openly, and you don't want to mention their names, but you can come up. You got the member, and you can go up and speak about that sin. You can say, look, like what we talked about in the not this khutbah, but this khutbah and the previous khutbah. You bring up those things without mentioning you. You don't have to do that, or you go and advise the person privately. Either way, obviously if it's a whole bunch of people that are doing this type of behavior, and it's kind of hard to go to every single person. that's your place of nasiha right there. That member, you get up there and you let the people know this behavior is not permissible, and give them the evidence. You don't want them to follow you anyways. You want them to follow the evidence. So set it up for them. Give it, facilitate that evidence for them and let them follow it. All right. So after that, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Wallahu fi auni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhihi." That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the assistance. He's in the assistance of his servant as long as his servant remains in the assistance of his brother. Whenever your brother's in need, you come to his assistance. If your brother's in need and you have the ability to assist him and you don't assist him, what is this called in the Arabic language? Yeah, khudlan. Well, it might be. It might check it.
Allah called the shaitan khadula.
Yeah, but check it, because I know khudlan, but there might be both of them might be correct. Khudlan or khudlan, but I know khudlan. But khadala, it means to abandon somebody in his time of need. So, and this is this is not from the traits of the believers. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, when he mentioned about the Ta'ifat al-Mansura, what he said, لا يضرهم من خالفهم ولا من خذلهم حتى يأتي أمر الله وهم قائمون على حتى يأتي what? Man, I always have a problem with this hadith of Muawiyah. Always. The wording of this hadith. Well, I have memorized this thing at least 30 times and I still, Khidlan. Khudlan.
No, with the kasra it says khidlan and khadalan.
And Khadalan.
لا عمر المعاني.
إيش؟
عمر المعاني. This is المعاني. So it's khadalan and khidlan.
All right. So Khidlan. يضرهم من خالفهم, like that no harm will come to them from those that disagree with them and go against them, that oppose them. ولا من خذلهم, and no harm will come to them from those that abandon them in their times of need. All right. حتى يأتي وعد الله وهم قائم.
حتى يأتي الله بأمره.
حتى يأتي أمر الله وهم ظاهرون على الناس. وهم ظاهرون على الناس. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So until the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come down, and they're going to be over the people. They're going to be ظاهرون على الناس. And this is the طائفة المنصورة. Hadith of Muawiyah radhiyallahu anhu. All right. So after that, he said what? He said, "Wallahu fi auni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhihi, wa man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilman, sahhala Allahu lahu tariqan ila jannah." All right. So whoever sets out on a path, all right, and it chooses the path seeking, and he's in search of knowledge in that path. Yaltamisu. Yaltamisu, it means what?
It means like one of the ulama is like harakat al-a'ma. Like it's very easy. It's like the way the blind people move.
Yeah, it's because it comes from lamasa. Lamasa means to touch. You're searching for something like this, but yaltamisa, it means to go out and search for something. To go out and search for something.
Takes a path.
Huh?
Takes a path.
No, salaka is to take the path. Salaka, tariqan, that's the taking the path. Yaltamis means to search. So he takes a path searching for knowledge. Yaltamisu, what? Yaltamisu fihi ilman. So sahhalallahu tariqan. They say this is probably why. What is it? Huh? Sahhalallahu lahu tariqan ila jannah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make easy for him the path to get to Jannah.
I heard two different. I heard from the past. يلتمس فيه يعني سهل الله له به طريقا.
That's why you keep correcting me all the time, and that's why I'm like now I'm looking at why I memorized it the way I memorized it.
No, I'm saying I have this memorized like this too because I've seen like in Sheikh bin Baz's book.
Yeah, but that's why you keep correcting me, man. And I kept wanting to kick you every time because I was like, okay, I guess I got it wrong because he keeps. And then now I'm seeing that this is.
They're both right though.
But now I see why I memorized it the way I memorized it. Now I see that I was right the whole time, man. I'm gonna throw it. Give me my shoes. You remember that George Bush thing when the guy threw the shoes? Oh boy, if that was his mother, she would have hit George Bush. Because the mothers know how to throw shoes. The boys don't know how to throw shoes. Mothers know how to throw shoes. Yeah. Right? Yusuf, did you get shoes thrown at you? Oh, okay.
When I meant Sheikh bin Baz's book, I meant his Sharh of Riyadh al-Salihin. Because in his, when he was explaining his own like introduction, he didn't mention the bihi. That's
all right, so there you go. وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله تعالى يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم. All right, so a group of people, they will not gather in the house from the houses of Allah, from the masajid. يتلون كتاب Allah, like reciting the book of Allah. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? About the tilawah, what did he say? يتلونه حق تلاوته. What does that mean? Does that mean that they study al-Jazariyah and they make sure that every single makhraj of every single harf is exactly the way that Husari reads it? Is that what it means?
They actually follow it.
Yeah, that means that you read it and you act upon it. Haqqa tilawati. The haqq is that you read it correctly. No, reciting it correctly is a part of it, but that you act upon it, and that's the haqq. And that's so not only, and that's why you see the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in this hadith, he said yataluna kitab Allah, that they recite the book of Allah. Does that mean that they sit here in the masjid doing this like we're in a museum? No, a tilawah is what? With sound. So they sit in the houses of Allah. They recite the book of Allah. That means that you come into the masjid and you recite. That doesn't mean that you sit there, no brother, we don't make noise in the masjid. This is like a museum or a library. No, they sit in the houses of Allah. They sit in the masajid. يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَيَتَدَارَسُونَهُ بَيْنَهُم. And they study it. Now, so not only are they reciting the Quran, but they sit together to try to understand the Quran together. And in that way they can act upon it. They can act upon it. إِلَّا نَزَلَتْ. So they don't do this except what? إِلَّا نَزَلَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّكِينَةِ. That the tranquility will come down. The tranquility, that peace. When you facing all this stress outside, and you come into the masjid and you grab a mushaf, you pray your 2 rak'ahs, you sit down, you grab a mushaf and you start reciting the Quran, and your heart is just like trembling from all the stress that you're going through. What happens?
Every time.
It just what? It just goes away. Goes away. Within 30 minutes, you forgot what was going on. You forgot whatever was going on outside those walls, you forgot it. That's that tranquility, that's that sakina that comes down, that peace, that tranquility that comes over the heart when the person insists in the masjid. And to recite the book of Allah, to understand the book of Allah, especially with the purpose of acting upon it. Not just the purpose of just memorizing it and just going up and reciting it saying he's a hafiz. No, with the person of what? Who tries to act upon it, tries to, because we got all these guys, you see. Look at all these imams for Ramadan, these like these Pakistani guys, and even some of the Somali brothers, they memorize the Quran, mashallah, they got it down. But then start asking them to explain it. They can't understand. How are you going to act? You can't even act upon what you memorize. So the most important thing is that as we're memorizing the Quran, we also what? Try to sit down and understand it and study it. And, so because the purpose of the Quran was sent down for the purpose of acting on it. For giving us the guidelines of how we should be as Muslims, and giving us stories of the people from before, so we can learn and see, learn from their mistakes and see the things that they did and see the good stories of the people that went before and try to emulate their behavior and their character. So he said, Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
You asked about tilawah. There's also another verse.
That's tired. We got to keep this under 30 minutes. All right, tell me after, inshallah. All right, so he said, وَغَشِيَتْهُمُ الرَّحْمَةِ. And then after that, so the sakina comes down, and then all of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what? It covers them and encompasses them, right? وَحَفَّتْهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. And the malaika, they put their wings down and they sit down in these majalis. They're sitting down and, what greater majlis could you be in? You think these majalis that the people sit in on a daily basis of the malaika going and sitting in these majalis, these majalis of stupidity and foolishness and talking about the dunya. So you sit in the masjid and you have this fadl, this ni'mah of what happens here. And then he said after that, he said, وَذَكَرَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي مَنْ أَنْدَهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions them with the highest of the malaika, the mala al-a'la, the mala'u al-a'la. This is the highest congregation of the delegation of the angels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions these people to them. So your name is mentioned amongst like the highest. I mean, come on, man. Do you know an honor better than that? Well, like right now, if a person knew that he did this, and this, that the president would get on TV and mention his name, well, that would make. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the majority of Muslims. That would make their day, akhi. They would videotape that and post it all over. Say, the president mentioned me. But here you have a hadith telling you how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to mention you. And yet the people don't want to, they don't care about that. They don't care. They don't want to do this. This is not important. But that famous person mentioning him, oh my God, that changed his whole life around. He couldn't sleep that night, man. He was over there tossing and turning, watching the video 20, 30,000 times. Like he's got it on replay. He's going to sleep with the video playing. Waking up just hearing come on, man. But here you got the way that Allah mentions you, and people don't even want to do it. So he said, وَمَنْ بَطَّعَ بِهِ عَمَلُهُ. All right, and whoever's slow to act, his actions, like he's slow to do the actions, لَمْ يُسْرِعْ بِهِ نَسَبُهُ. That his lineage is not going to take up the slack. So whatever lineage you come from, whatever family you come from, if you're not quick to act, your lineage is not going to take up the slack for your lack of actions, which means you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, and your lineage and your family and all this stuff, it means nothing. Allah gave it to you. Allah is the one who wrote that for you. He doesn't, doesn't mean, you think this means anything to him. Obedience to him, doing ta'zeem of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfilling his rights, that's what means something. And that's what we need to strive for. Wallahu a'lam. Wa ila huna subhanaka lana wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.